90% of businesses affected by the lockdown. Let's have a look. Good afternoon, everyone. Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've just brewed up a fresh afternoon coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from the ABC, written by Nassim Kadem, regarding, the number of businesses that are going to be affected by social distancing and the lockdown here in Australia. Up to 90%. Now, before we get into this, if your business has been affected by what's going on, let us know in the comments. Explain what's happened. Have you had to shut down? Have you had to let your staff go? I mean, this is a pretty drastic move. And there's some examples. Well, Rachel was reading a Harvard article the other night, and I'll go through it later in another episode, where we may have to do progressive social distancing because we won't get herd immunity from this illness. So this could be an ongoing feature of our civilization for some time to be. We'll have to see. So, almost half of Australian businesses have been hit even before social distancing, the ABS reveals. Almost half of Australian businesses surveyed by the Australian Bureau of Statistics said they have experienced an adverse impact as a result of the illness. The ABS is releasing extra data to show how the pandemic is hitting businesses and the economy. It said almost 90% of businesses across the country were expected to be impacted in future months. So, I mean, here we have the ABS expecting this to last months, guys. Have you prepared for that? You know, this is where the Dave Ramsey strategy of having a 6 months emergency fund seems to make a lot of sense, doesn't it? But the data was collected in mid-March, just before the federal government introduced social distancing rules to control the spread of the illness. The ABS said the adverse impacts were most prevalent in accommodation and food services, with over 3/4 of businesses, 78%, already reporting impacts and 96% reporting that they expected impacts in coming months. 96% in accommodation and food, guys. The loss of hospitality jobs is a major reason why there have been long queues of people outside Centrelink offices. Many are seeking to access to expanded welfare payments, including a $5.50 fortnight supplement payment. And here we have businesses adversely impacted by the illness. Reduced local demand, reduced international demand, reduced supply levels, increased supply levels. Staff shortages, look at that, 60% expect staff shortages, and other reasons. Those least likely to have been adversely impacted by the illness in the collection period were professionals, scientific and technical services, electricity, gas and water supply, and mining. A reduction in local demand was the most common impact experienced, 82%, and was also the most common impact expected in coming months. Of impacted businesses, more than 1/3 had experienced staff shortages, 36%, and 59% expected to experience staff shortages in coming months. A sample of 3,000 businesses was selected for the latest survey, and 41% responded. The ABS said this lower than usual response rate may be related to whether businesses are adversely impacted by the illness, including businesses that have shut down and therefore may not have responded to the survey. So all size of businesses are impacted. Well, that's not surprising. There are expectations more than 1 million Australians could lose their jobs if the unemployment rate hits more than 10%, as some economists are predicting. I think it could be 2 million. I think I read somewhere else up to 2.7 million jobs at risk. Tens of thousands of staff working for listed companies across Australia have already faced significant disruption of their usual employment, including loss of income, at least temporary. This includes staff being temporarily stood down at major airlines, including Qantas and Virgin, which have had to cut most of their international and domestic flights in response to the illness. Woolworths has also been hit by hotel closures, although I understand Woolworths are looking at employing 20,000 new people as well as Flight Centre, which on Thursday said 3,800 workers would be temporarily stood down, and Premier Investments, which shut stores worldwide in response to the pandemic. Now, here's the thing. If you're stood down, are you counted in the unemployment statistics? That's the worrying thing. More small businesses like hairdressers could close, impacted by more stringent social distancing measures, while there have already been mandated closures of other businesses, including beauty salons. The pandemic is causing havoc across all industries, with hospitality bearing the brunt, with businesses of all sizes affected, NAB economist San Wong said. Reduced demand is the key problem, although labour shortages are an important and growing problem as staff are affected by illness, quarantine, school closures and transportation disruptions. The ABS will be doing a series of other surveys over the coming months to help measure the economic impact of the illness. It said it had measured the potential risk by suspending face-to-face interviews in the final week of the March survey and instead conducted telephone interviews. How the ABS will report job losses. Now, this is going to be interesting. As the virus spreads and more job losses are reported, the ABS will have a challenge in how it presents labour force data. The agency noted reduced hours would not necessarily mean people would be counted as unemployed. Well, they're underemployed. This is the thing. The underemployment rate, which is already quite high, is more important, I would say. Underemployment plus unemployment, they need to be what's reported in the news, but they never are. And then we need to look at the Roy Morgan methodology as well and compare them. Roy Morgan's generally roughly about double ABS. The ABS has long defined a person who is unemployed as one who, during a specific reference period, is not employed for 1 hour or more, is actively seeking work, and is currently available for work. So there's another thing, guys. If you do 1 hour of work, you're employed. If you're not actively seeking work, if you're just going to wait it out, then you won't be counted as unemployed because you're not the participation rate in the workforce. You're not participating in the workforce. So that'll be interesting to see what the participation rate is. You know, and if you're not currently available for work, oh no, I've still got this job, I'm just leave without pay, you won't be counted either as unemployed. Its own guidance states that labour force data provides a measure of the number of people who are employed and not a measure of the number of jobs. During an economic downturn, reducing hours is often an early response taken by businesses, often with the view of avoiding people losing their jobs, the ABS said in a statement. And I think all of us have been in a situation where if there's a slowdown, you want to keep your staff. So you reduce their hours. Or you've worked for somewhere and they've wanted to keep you. So they reduce hours during a slowdown. For example, if a person takes paid leave while not working, they will be classified as employed. And if a person is away from a job, business or farm for 4 weeks or less without pay for any reason and believes that they still have a job to go back to, they will be considered employed. The ABS said, if a person believes they no longer have a job, they will be asked additional questions to determine whether they are unemployed or not in the labour force. That is, the person must be actively looking for work and available to start to work, it said. Those people that do not meet this criteria will be classified as not in the labour force. So the actual unemployment rate, when you take all of that into account, is much worse. So what do you think, guys? What do you think? Up to 90% of businesses may be affected. Did you see the US unemployment? Well, not the unemployment data, the US welfare requests or welfare applications. How high they shot out. You know what? I will find those. I have it here on another screen. We'll have a look. And you can see this line shooting up right here. These are the weekly jobless claims. This is it in the past. The red is the weekly jobless claims, and the green is the unemployment rate. So when it spikes up, unemployment rate shoots up. Unemployment rate shoots up. Shoots up. That's 84. Where's 2008-9? Here we go. The GFC. Boom. Boom. Look at that. Look at that, guys. You know, I'll copy this image and I'll bring it over to here so we can see the whole thing. Look at this. Okay. We'll have a look here. Look at that. So, weekly jobless claims have gone from, I don't know, between 500 and 0, somewhere there, say 250, up to 3,283. Wait, you can't see it. There you can. Okay? I'll make that even bigger. We'll zoom in. So, I'll be quite interested to see what happens in Australia. I mean, this is insane. And look at the unemployment rate from that spike. You know, say, what was that? 500, 750, it was up to 10%. What unemployment rate are you looking at the US? How many people are just going to wait it out or remove from the market? What's going to happen here in Australia? Don't worry. I'm sure it's all going to be fine. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you want to support us, there's a few ways you can. You can donate to the channel via PayPal. You can join the channel using Patreon or here on YouTube. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay for your consumer purchases, or Kucoin at Independent Reserve for your crypto trading. We sell merch at HeiseSays on our website or at Teespring below. Finally, we also have Gold Pass if you want to donate gold to us. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.